Everything is going as planned. As I went to the house to pick up something I had forgotten, my husband's voice came from the living room. Your wife should be on her way to the other side soon. My mother-in-law says, I can't believe they despised me so much that they wanted to murder me after living with me for so long. Normally, I would have questioned my husband and mother-in-law right away, but I didn't dare to do so because of my profession. I began my fight to expose them for the evil they had done the next day. Kathy Smith is my name. Ryan, my husband, is 3 years older, and we married 3 years ago. We met at my husband's workplace during a traffic safety class. At the time, I was a police officer in the traffic division. It was my first traffic safety class, and I was nervous because I was not used to speaking in front of large groups of people. I was impressed by the way he talked to me to calm me down. We became good friends as it was, but despite being married for many years, we still did not have children. I wanted to have children as soon as we married, but Ryan wasn't so sure. Raising a child is expensive, so maybe after we have a little more money saved up. He said so, but since we both work, I'm sure he's not concerned about money. But every time we discuss children, he dismisses it. I am not alone in my concern about not having children. Heather, my mother-in-law, has always been concerned about our lack of children. She seemed to be looking forward to grandchildren at first, but after 3 years, she began to suspect that I didn't want children. You're not going to be young forever, so you better hurry, she said. If a woman does not bear her husband's children, she's no better than a housekeeper. It's not like I don't want to have a child. When I tell Ryan what my mother-in-law said to me, he becomes irritated. What exactly is it? Are you blaming me? I'm overworked and exhausted. If you truly desire a child, make an effort to make me feel that way. He would start saying that without fail, and he would pay close attention to my appearance. Anyway, his tastes don't suit me, and he prefers girls who dress younger. Furthermore, no matter how many times I tell him that I can't be too trendy because I don't know when I'll be called away for work, he doesn't get it. A wife who does not dress well is an unfit woman. You should think about it before complaining to me. I had no idea my husband, who had been so sweet to me before, had such terrible ideas, and I regretted marrying him. My department and work schedule changed 2 years into our marriage. It became increasingly difficult to time my husband's day off with mine, and we spent less and less time together. I knew it wasn't good for us, and even when we finally managed to schedule our time off work together, Ryan made plans with someone else. You're canceling again. You promised last week that we'd go to the movies today. Some girls at work invited me to go fishing yesterday. They said they couldn't put the bait on the hook because they were afraid. I apologize. It's part of my job. Despite his words of remorse, he has a grin on his face. As a result of my husband's selfishness, my much-anticipated plans were betrayed at every turn. I was in a bad mood and wanted to spend my day off at home. But then my mother-in-law would show up without an appointment at my house. Oh, Ryan isn't here? He went fishing. Some girls from work asked him to accompany her. I guess he'd rather play with other girls than be with you. I don't want to deal with my mother-in-law, who can say such things to me and act like she doesn't care. but I can't just leave her alone and go out. So my days off would end with her sarcastic remarks like this. You don't appear to be able to have children. You need to be more proactive. You're his wife, right? I'm doing my best as well, but it's about money, and Ryan isn't thrilled about it. Because of finances? So, how much money do you make now? I hesitated to tell her about private matters, even if she was my mother-in-law. When I told her a little less than my actual pay, she sneered, with a disappointed expression on her face. Oh my, it's surprisingly less than I thought. After all, I'm a civil servant. With such low wages, how can you want to have children? What on earth was she comparing them to? I wish she would not compare a wealthy individual to a civil servant. However, something about my mother-in-law's demeanor felt strange at the time. And the doubts I was experiencing at the time were only the beginning of the story that was to unfold. My mother-in-law began to openly bully me after that day. Her visits to my house have increased to the point where I see them half the week. When I got home from work one day, my mother-in-law entered the house using her own key and was cooking dinner. Oh my, you're a wife, but you prioritize work over family. It must be wonderful not to have children. Perhaps it was because of my sarcastic mother-in-law's meals, but I was always sick after eating. She would wake me up once when I was sleeping after a night shift. How long do you intend to stay in bed? You're not a good wife if you stay in bed until noon because of your job. This will make a man want to go out and find someone else. She then forced me to eat breakfast. As a result, I gradually discovered that nothing I ate tasted good, and in some cases tasted bitter. After more than a month of this, I was so tired from stress and lack of sleep that I had to go to the bathroom right after eating. When Ryan saw my tired face, he became annoyed rather than concerned. I'd feel down too if you made such a sour face at home. You have been slacking by delegating housework to my mother, so you should at the very least be sociable. She only visits when I'm too busy to do the housework, and she's always sarcastic. You're well aware of this, aren't you? Despite my warnings, he ignored me and continued to watch TV. He refused to listen to what I had to say. Instead, he kept laughing at the TV show, and my rage erupted. Ryan, you don't look at me when we talk anymore. You've started canceling plans with me even on holidays. Are you having an affair? That's a horrible accusation. My husband raised his voice in response to my words. I have a business matters. How can you say that without knowing how difficult it is? You only feel that way because you're the one who's cheating on me. He turned red and spoke in a firm tone. I was too stunned by the power of his words to respond. Furthermore, my husband took it out on the vase on the table, knocking it to the floor and sending shards flying at my feet. You don't have to go this far. That was the first time I had felt threatened by my husband. Such incidents have occurred on numerous occasions since then, and simply being at home with my husband has made me feel uneasy. I had to leave the house for a few days for work one day. I left for my business trip, but I realized I had left my important notebook at the door and forgotten about it. So I hurried back home. It's so nice of you to go on a business trip without doing any housework, isn't it? I was told the day before. I felt awkward seeing my husband because we had argued the day before and left the house. So, when I got home, I opened the front door slowly so as not to make a sound. I discovered my mother-in-law's shoes there. I was about to walk away when I overheard them conversing. I got the thing, and so far everything is going as planned. Your wife is going to die soon. That's correct. However, it's not as effective as I thought. She's been going to the bathroom after every meal, so I guess it's about time. The conversation took my breath away. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. What exactly does she mean? I quickly took out my voice recorder, which I always keep with me, and began recording. Unaware of what I was up to, the two in the room were upbeat and talking loudly about their crazy plan. Should we increase the amount of the life insurance policy? That way, we'll be able to pay off Mom's debt, right? I'd be extremely grateful. You won't have to look at that ugly girl every day too, then. I held my breath in surprise. I can't believe they think of me like that, even if they don't like me. In addition, I could hear him saying, "She's a police officer, but in the traffic department, so she'll never find out about it." I gradually became more angry than sad, vowing vengeance on them. On my business trip, I kept thinking about how I could get back at my husband. A colleague who was with me was concerned about my glum expression, and when I complained to him, he gave me some unexpected information. He told me that a drunken man had caused a commotion at a club a while ago, and when he arrived, he discovered that the drunken man was Ryan. He said that he recognized my husband's face right away because he was at my wedding. "This is my girlfriend," he exclaimed. "I'll beat up anyone who tries to touch her." Ryan was so drunk, hugging the female workers and kicking the table. But he wasn't drunkenly saying this. He actually appeared to be in a relationship with her. I suspected he was cheating on me. Everything my husband had done up to that point made sense to me. I wasn't surprised as I was shocked, but I was motivated to conduct a thorough investigation into my husband's affairs as well. Watch out, I'm not going to let this go. A week later, my husband abruptly began speaking to me in the same friendly tone he used when we first began dating. I was expecting him to have a hidden agenda, but instead he handed me a document. "Kathy, you always give your all in your dangerous job as a police officer. I admire you as a husband, but I'm concerned about you." What a pleasant surprise. It was a life insurance application. I was convinced that he was considering carrying out the plan. Even so, I wanted to believe Ryan one more time. "Do you really believe that? Is it possible that someone will try to murder me? Would you be concerned if that happened?" I locked my gaze into his. "Please, I beg you to reconsider," I thought in my head, as he nodded at me with a big smile on his face. "Of course. So get moving. Please sign this application." Is the only thing he sees in his eyes now the insurance money he can get in exchange for my life? He was a scumbag to the core, but thanks to him, I felt confident in sanctioning him. In this world, you never know who's out to get you, do you? Yes, and yes! There have been so many upsetting incidents. Someone in your family, for example, has a stupid idea. Yeah. Like planning to get rid of a wife who causes problems because he wants to be with a younger woman. My husband's eyes began to swim as he became visibly upset. His dead-ridden mother tempted him to take out an expensive insurance policy on his wife and kill her. Wait a second. What the hell are you? In front of my husband, I play the voice recorder. When I play the voice recorder in front of my husband, his face distorted and became ugly as his mother-in-law's conversation and vulgar laughter began to flow out. Hey, what's up this recording? I happened to overhear it. Thank goodness I have a voice recorder. I wouldn't have it if I'd spent my entire life working in traffic. You work in the traffic division, though. I'm now in the criminal division. I also told you so. So, I guess you've been busy thinking about a woman since then, and you've been ignoring me. I slammed the photographs of the affair evidence that my husband had hidden in his room. These were the only ones I discovered while searching the house while my husband was away, and strong evidence. I don't know anything of these pictures. I don't even know who she is. Huh. I heard she works at a high-end club, the one you had a problem at. You're so cool. I heard you yelling, "She's my girl!" How much do you know about? Not sure. Concerned. He was now making excuses to his wife no matter what. My mother is to blame. When she discovered that I was dating another girl, she insisted that I marry her rather than you because of your low salary. My husband's words made sense. When my mother-in-law inquired about my salary and stated that it was low, most likely referring to my husband's girlfriend. According to the voice recorder recording and listening to the conversation, my mother-in-law owed me a substantial sum of money. It would be shallow of her to try to pay off the debt with my insurance money and from my husband's new girlfriend. So you're saying it was your mother who devised me the scheme? Yeah, I had absolutely nothing to do with it. What are you on about? It started with you cheating on her to begin with. It's disgusting to blame someone else for it. You will never be forgiven. I shouted, and my husband grabbed my chest while screaming incoherently. I grabbed him by the hand and threw him to the ground with all my might. I'm a cop. I'm used to dealing with aggressive people like you. I don't need life insurance to protect myself. My husband became weak and apologetic when he saw the handcuffs. You're arrested. I apologize. I don't know what I was doing. Please accept my apologies. I'll hear your excuses at the police station. I'll give you ample opportunity to explain. Following that, my husband and his mother were imprisoned for a time for plotting to kill me. I filed for divorce and demanded $20,000 in alimony from both my husband and his girlfriend. They may be freed soon because it was an attempted murder, but I am sure they will be fired from their jobs. And they will have a difficult life with the alimony payments and paying off my mother-in-law's debts. On the other hand, for the first time in a long time, I'm enjoying living alone. I've been forced to live in a small space, so I decided to stretch out and spread my wings for a little while longer.